I've been reading a book by Stacy Schiff about Samuel Adams, and he was one of the founding figures of this country that is really amazing when you read about him. It's kind of like Paul Revere, who's mentioned in this book. You know, we have this caricature figure in our minds of Paul Revere. The British are coming, the British are coming. He's galloping on his horse and has a lantern in his hand, and he's going from town to town telling people the British are coming. But when you actually read about him and so many of those people, he was one badass figure. The British were after him. The British caught him at one point, put a gun to his head, said, "Where are you going? Where's Hancock? Where's this person? Where's Adams? What's going on?" And he was saying things like, you know, if you put a gun to my head, I'm not going to tell you any more truth than if you don't put a gun to my head. These people were very real. Not only were they very real, but the thing that strikes me, and strikes any of us when we read about them, is how brave they were, how courageous. They saw tyranny, and their liberty was so important to them that they displayed phenomenal courage and phenomenal bravery in order to make sure that tyranny did not stand. How are we doing on that? Because so far, I don't think we're doing very well. The issue is not just Trump and his minions. The issue is us and how we respond. And so far, we're doing a lot of what Timothy Snyder calls obeying in advance. This is very typical of systems where tyranny has run rampant, where people just get so scared they start obeying before you're even making serious demands. You're just making threats. So the main places where we're seeing this happening already, we're seeing it in universities, we're seeing it in law firms, and we're seeing it in media companies. Now, the place where it's showing up this week has to do with CBS firing Colbert. And, of course, the president has already gotten on social media to say he absolutely loves that. But let's remember that this followed the fact. CBS last week already agreed to settle a frivolous lawsuit with Trump to the tune of $16 million. Listen to some of these figures. ABC paid $15 million to him, Meta and Facebook $25 million, and Twitter $10 million. So most legal scholars say these media companies would have won these cases, but they just gave in. They gave in. And with any bully, such as the president, you give in a little, you give him an inch, and he will take a mile. We already have the fact that Bill Owens, who had been the leader at 60 Minutes for so many years, he already quit, saying they won't even let me do the show I want to do anymore. So the last place that we should be okay with the just complete surrender to what the president wants is in the legacy media. The second area, of course, has to do with these law firms. And when you hear these numbers, they're just staggering. And, you know, Barack Obama made a statement the other day, and I thought, good for you, when he said these law firms are caving. I don't know if he used the word cave, but he said they're surrendering to the president's demands. What, so that they won't lose a few clients or not be able to do the rehab on their house in the Hamptons? It's extraordinary, actually. So listen to some of these numbers. Paul Weiss Rifkind, Wharton and Garrison, $40 million. Skadden, Arp, Slate, Meagher, and Flom, $100 million. Wilkie, Farr, and Gallagher, $100 million. Miliband LLP, $100 million. Kirkland and Ellis, $125 million. And Cadwallader, Wickersham, and Taft, $100 million. And how is that money being paid to the president? This is so sinister. The way that money is being paid is that, let's say you agree to $100 million, those law firms are going to do pro bono legal work for the right-wing causes that the president believes in. So once again, it's not just what Trump is doing, it's what we, the American people, must not do. And look at the ways we're doing it already. Columbia University, University of California, Georgetown University. And the Trump administration is investigating 52 other universities in 41 states. Some of these colleges, and certainly the ones I mentioned, they have huge multi-billion-dollar endowments. So if the president says, we're not going to give you $40 million unless you cave, what are those huge endowments for, if not for a rainy day? And man, this is very much a rainy day. We're going to have to stand up with some bravery here. We're going to have to stand up with some courage here. And by the way, many people are. I'm not saying they're not. It's unbelievable how Republicans are voting for bills that take money for children. They incinerated tons of food that could have been given to starving people. Why are we okay with this? We must not be okay with this. We've gone long past the point where, I don't know, I think authoritarianism might be coming. No, it's here. And we must be brave and we must be courageous, and each and every one of us. It's whatever conversation you're in. Listen, they've already proven with how cruel and sadistic they are in these ICE raids, the way they've already treated people such as Senator Padilla. They're on a roll. We have to be on a roll. We have to be on a roll of courage and bravery and not giving in and not caving. And you know, there is such a thing as healthy shame. And healthy shame is what these law firms should be feeling. Healthy shame is what some of these media companies should be feeling. Healthy shame is what some of these people in these universities should be feeling. The rest of us, let's be able to look at ourselves in the mirror and have some self-respect. Like I said, read up on people like Samuel Adams. Read up about Paul Revere. We all need spine.